Warning, spoilies ahead.
That's why I'm always, I'm saving my best material for when I'm at work behind the counter.
Of course, because there could always be talents out there to,
and
get you.
that's what customers want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Is my shitty jokes
Mm-hmm.
when they ask me for a service that I'm paid to do.
Yeah.
And instead I tell them jokes that don't land. And
Sounds about right.
and I'm like, oh yeah, and I have a podcast, and at this point they're like, can I just have my food? Can you just yeah
Got it. Hi there, welcome to Two Guys, One Film. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane, and this week we watched the 1996 movie Carpool. Am I saying that right? Maybe I'm not saying it. It's Carpool.
Carpool.
Carpool. Pool. Because, it's one word I'm saying here.
Yeah, Carpool. Yeah, there we go. You got it.
Carpool. All right. Starring Tom Arnold, David Paymer. I have seen those two in different stuff. I cannot remember. Oh, Rhea Perlman also. Seen her in a few things. I feel like the old guy that's like the big boss. I've seen him in stuff, but I can't.
Mars Attacks.
That's it. That's right.
He gets
yes,
crushed.
he's the.
Yes. Yeah.
He's the general guy.
Yep.
All right, and
Who directed?
I feel like I've seen that Mikey, the guy that played the like pretty. Like thief guy. I feel like I've seen him in other shit.
Oh
too.
yeah, he's been in a lot of shit. This is a movie that when I saw these people and I'm watching, I'm like, I know them from something. And probably it's like a fucking like X-Files episode. I was like, that guy was in an X-Files episode. I think that is actually what I know that dude from.
It's probably.
Yeah. We'll look it up afterwards. I'm like, it says an X-Files episode. Put it on the screen if hey, future Dylan, if I'm right and that dude was in an X-Files, put a thumbs up. If I'm wrong, put a big old one of those circles with the line on it on my face.
Nope. Not this time.
Not this time.
All right. The director was Arthur Hiller, and that's it.
Nobody wrote it?
It just says director, Arthur Hiller.
There's got to be a writer for it, right?
That's it. Distributed by Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers Pictures.
Don Reimer. Is the
How
writer.
come I am not seeing this?
That's weird. Don Reimer.
Reimer.
Ooh, Reimer sounds bad.
Yeah.
What a fucking off the walls intro. Good God.
How come I can't see this? Okay, we're not looking at. I'm just usually Google, folks, is what I use.
I use Internet Movie Database,
and it's all in one little nice little corner here. But for some reason, and usually the writer is here, but it's not. It goes from director to distributed by to box office to production company.
Google's been a piece of shit lately, dude. Like the search engine on Google sucks lately. Like I can't find shit.
But anyway. Sorry, folks. Synopsis. There's a carpool that goes on between these families. It's the mom's turn to take the kids to school, but she's sick. So guess whose turn it is? It's the dad's turn, but he's got all this
dad,
he's got all this stuff to do, so he's got to hurry up.
He's got a presentation, dude.
It's gonna take a while. So, he's going out and he's got to pick up all the kids, and then he gets kidnapped and hilarity ensues, and we'll just take it from there.
Because Tom Arnold owns a circus, and it's going under, and he can't afford to pay any of his employees. So the court gave him 48 hours to come up with the money, and he's like, I'm going to go rob a bank to help my employees, because he's a fucking great guy that way.
Because that's what you think, right?
That's
when
what
you're
you
like,
think. There's only one way to help my employees. So he goes to rob it, but it's closed. And I love that when he's like, oh, give me all your safe. Give me the money in the safe. I mean, a savings account. Sorry for me. He's like, but you're closed. I'll come back in 5 minutes when you're open. It's right there. It's signed. Okay. But then, it's a botched up saving the day because other robbers are robbing the
Oh yeah, and
the
then the other
store.
robbers there also.
Yeah, so they're trying to rob it. Then he tries to save the day, but the cops come in. It looks like he's robbing the place, whole thing, and he's just trying to save his business and his employees, like a great boss would. And he's a doofy, lovable guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
I mean, it's Tom Arnold. So how are you gonna get upset when he's holding you hostage, right?
I'd sign me up,
Right.
Franklin. Sign me up, Franklin. But yeah, that's all you need to know, folks.
It's a goofy movie,
from there.
and that's the end. That we've been
End
two
of the
guys, one
episode.
film.
Watch Carpool. So anyway, we're introduced to the characters slowly. You got dumb, neurotic dad Daniel, who only cares about his presentation with the company. I forgot it's the convenience store. They
Hammer
go
or
to.
something.
Hammerman's.
Yeah.
Hammerman's, yeah.
Like,
So
why?
he's got a
Like,
presentation.
such
He's an
a-
admin. I don't know.
And it's like, I like how they make Hammerman's like purposely like the most boring. Like even the
Yeah.
outside of the store, like everything is gray.
It's all
like,
gourmet, and it's all for old people. You know, like
even gourmet stuff. Like why does it have to be so like sad?
yeah. Which it's cool because it's like, you know, it goes to show that he's an old guy out of touch and he wants it a certain way. And you got to learn a lesson with your family and with your best friend kidnapper and to be like, shit needs to change. You got to update with the times, friend.
Well, Mr. Daniel, he's trying to get out of like taking those kids like right in the
Dude,
beginning.
and his wife is like sick.
Very sick. You could
And all
see
he's like, oh, which tie goes well? This one. And she's like throwing up. And then I like when he was like, "Oh, you're not throwing up now, so you should be good to go, right?" And she's like throws the pillow at him. He's like,
and
it's
also
fucking
like
kids,
a
man.
little bit before that. Oh, are you sure you're?
Are you sure
You
you're
sure
sick?
you're like, dude? She just
And then
told you.
come to find out, the meeting's not till 4.
Yeah.
Because she's like, "What time's your meeting? Like 4?" And he's like, "Look, I'm already 10 minutes late." And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're
like,
the
but
guy.
why do you got to be like that early,
Yeah.
dude?
You wind your watch 10 minutes faster. It gives you some wiggle room." Like, God, dude.
I'm like, dude,
But
but he's got like, what time do you suppose it is? It's like 8
Well, the
o'clock
kids
in
are
the
going
morning.
to
I'm
school.
like,
It's probably like
dude.
7 o'clock. You know, you're getting the kids to school. You know, presuming that school starts at 7. So, dude, like I know it's probably like a big deal and a big account. And this guy's like, look, I get it too. I get anxiety if I'm running late.
Yeah.
But I guess this is his character. You got to show the character growth and development. This is the guy that takes his job serious. Then he's like, hey kids, we'll go to a game after that sometime. I'm like, yeah, right. Like you
Yeah,
said the
sure,
last time.
sure, Dad.
Fucking idiot, Dad.
Yeah, whatever.
But this movie does have a lot of good, like, quick lines, and it does make me laugh. Because, like, the part where in the morning, and the youngest son was like, oh, but everyone deserves a second chance. My teacher said that. And he's like, oh, well, your teacher's also been married 5 times. Ugh.
Which I believe is brought up again too.
Yeah, like, 'cause
but,
they're
like,
like,
yeah,
everyone
but she's
deserves
been
a
married.
second chance. Or sometimes 5 if you're like my teacher. Or something. Like, at the end. It was like, a lot of good, like, planned
like,
payoffs, you know?
I
Like,
was,
it was
like this movie made me like chuckle like that a
Yeah.
bunch. Like there's a bunch of times I was just like,
it's well written, like what you would not think for
it's
like
very
a kids movie.
96.
Yeah, and but then I love the introduction of Franklin, and his like mom lives with him, but they never like show his mom's face, which is great.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like probably obviously just like a giant dude, and it's just talk like this, Franklin. I'm like, Mom, stop wearing my shirts. You're stretching them out. Like, what if a gentleman caller comes? And it's all of his like
That's the circus people.
employees, yeah, like the one that's like a dog and everything. The guy's like, I have an interview with Wingling Brothers. The Ringling Brothers? No, Wingling.
It was stuff like that. It's so goofy, but it's like
so quick too. So when they're all picking up the kids, I like when they drive by. Oh, because earlier the dad was like, well, why isn't, you know, the old guy neighbor taking him? She's like, well, he's had 3 strokes. He's like, well, never behind the wheel. And then they're driving by later. It's like, kids, let me see that's an 80-year-old man and he's doing his yard work.
he's
Don't let
outside
anybody
his
tell
yard
you."
work.
It was like fucking naked waist.
And I like
like,
that.
Stay away
from
him
him from now on. Stay away from him from now on.
It's like, pants.
It's like,
Uh,
oh,
it's just small fucking jokes like that too, because it's like waist up. You see him on the other side of the bushes, and you
It's
turn
just
around,
like,
it's
no
like
pants.
You stay away from that man.
Yeah. Who's the first kid they pick up?
The little girl who's
Oh
really
yeah, that's right.
slow
Who's like super slow.
and like putting her jacket on, and like Daniel comes out to try to like grab her. She's like, "Oh, you could be a stranger though." She's like, "I'm not. I'm I'm his dad. You can
Yeah.
trust me." She's like, "That's exactly what a stranger would say." He has to like show his ID to her,
Yeah.
which is funny. Cut to later on, she has a thing with strangers, and like Franklin's driving. She's like, "Well, I'm not gonna talk to him because he's a stranger." She's like, "I'm not a stranger anymore. I'm Franklin." She goes, "Okay," and then like,
Yeah.
I love that. Like, gives fucking Daniel shit hard time, and then Franklin's like, "All right."
I'm like, everybody just loves Franklin though.
Yeah. And then that's also her older sister comes along, which Buzzy, whatever teenage kid's name is.
Is like perving on the whole time.
Yeah. Like staring down her shirt and doesn't even try to lie about it.
I know.
He just like and doesn't stop. Like he gets caught
Yeah.
and he just keeps like looking. I was like, dude.
Like, dude, okay, like you blew
the
it right
brakes.
there, man. Like
And then yeah, when she comes in the car, it's like, "Oh, our mom got breast surgery and they like relocated her nipples," and the little kid's like, "Cool, where'd they
Where?
relocate them?"
Yeah.
So cool, where?
Oh wait, so then they picked up that kid with the weird kid, who I
Yeah,
don't
that's
really
the-
think is weird. He's like funny. He's awesome.
He's funny as fuck. The last kid, he
Yeah.
was tested. I like how the mom even says that, and then later
Yeah.
on the kid's like, "I'm not weird." He's like, "I never said you were." He's like, "Oh, I was tested, you know."
I love that
shower clap and
when he gets in the car and he's like, "You go ahead and sit anywhere you want except for the front seat." He just sits down.
It's good fucking comedic timing, man.
I know.
I'm not crazy. I was tested. Well, then obviously you cheated. It's like- And
I
he's
like how he's just like kind of a dick, but like
Yeah.
it's funny.
yeah, he's like that level of like fed up dad, but it's like, it's hilarious. Like he's annoying to the point where you're like, "Oh my God, man, just come on." But it's like still funny. You're not like, "Oh my God, shut the fuck up, Daniel."
Yeah.
You're like, "This guy's funny too." But it's like, he needs to be that balance of like goofy, chaotic.
Because it couldn't be
to, like,
just
yeah.
Franklin. It has to be him too.
Yeah.
Because
so it
their
really-
dynamic is really it works and it's funny.
It's like that classic like straight man to the goofy man, you know?
Yeah.
Like everything's got to have like the straight man. But
Yeah. Very good.
But yeah,
duo.
like-
Okay, before we go too far, I'm gonna ask you this because you know I do it every time.
here it comes.
Child actors, what do you think?
This is good. So like I had a discussion with Christine about this. Because she's the one initially who showed me this movie. It was like right after we first started dating. She's like, "You have to watch Carpool," and I was like, "Okay." Then sure as shit, it's great. Anyway, we were discussing this. Is like this was a time when like kid actors were just acting like kids, like they were just being themselves. Like obviously, like they know how to say lines and shit, but like to me, Disney Channel ruined child acting when that came out. Because then every kid became a Disney Channel theater kid. And like over the top acted and talk like they're not children. I'm like, that's not how kids talk.
Pretty much.
Like, I appreciate this movie. I didn't like Bucky just because he's the teenage kid. But like the girl that was slow to move, she was funny. The alien kid was awesome. So like honestly, these kids get the Dylan child acting seal of approval. You did good. I wasn't annoyed by you at all.
Nice.
So,
You
2
know
thumbs
I'm
up
gonna
for these child actors.
You know I'm gonna ask every time we got, and this is like a predominantly kids
yeah,
acting. Like they're in the whole thing.
yeah.
So
and
I
that's
had
why,
to ask.
and that's why it's good because yeah, they're not trying to overdo it. They're just saying their lines. They're acting like normal children, not like, "Oh, this is how kids act." And like
That's probably
no,
why
that's-
it was so like fun to watch.
Yeah, because they're like it's more believable that they're kids, and you're like, oh, that is something a kid would say, Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna. Episode 1 has a. I don't think I need to say that it's Star Wars, but I will for the people that don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Those kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck in the booter race.
Yeah. Let's go play ball.
Like, and I can see it there. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
No.
And why do they act like that? The midichlorians. It's the Force.
Exactly.
That's the excuse.
When children don't have enough midichlorians, they don't know how to act like children. And also vice versa, when they have too many, like Anakin does, they also don't know how to act like humans. It's just children, because it's their midichlorian hormone count's off the charts, and they haven't hit the midichlorian puberty yet. So the kids spill coffee on the dad's lap, and I like that one girl's like, that happened to my uncle, and he can no longer see the color green. So they go to Hammerman's, but only he goes in there.
Yeah.
And Franklin's in there too. And I like that whole thing about donuts. He's like, can I get donuts? He's like, we don't have donuts here, only gourmet stuff. Okay, well, can I get a gourmet donut? It's like, no, we don't have those. How can you not have donuts? And that was Todd, because there was that whole funny interaction with Todd after that. Like, Todd gives him the money, and then, like, when he's backing out of the store, he's like, bye, Todd. He's like, bye. I hope that Todd and Franklin, like, got together after this, you know? I mean, I'm sure, like, Todd wants it to go a certain way, but they could be good friends.
Yeah.
But I like that. Bye, Todd. Call me. But when the robbers come in, they're like, all right, everybody, you know what this is, and you know what we want. And he goes, damn, that's good. I wish I
know. I
would
wish
have
I
that.
would
And
have
he writes that down. But yeah, then the old lady in there, and she's got a gun. It's like the standoff, and then
That's great. The whole bit with her, too.
Yeah, and the way they introduce her, too, with, like, her walking by the van. She's like, what adorable children. It's like, you want them? I'll sell them to you real cheap. Yeah, and, like, just...
I like how they always describe Daniel as, like, well, there was this... He was super annoying. Just really annoying man. No.
The guy with him. Oh, yeah. The robber was really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there was children in the van? Oh, my 2 years of being on broadcasting. I've never seen anything so horrific. So during the gun standoff, and the lady, like, drops the gun and it shoots the pot of coffee and it burns, like, Daniel's crotch again.
Again?
Yeah, like, he's like, oh, it's like, I'm getting used to it. It's like, hey, I know what you mean. I know the feeling. I like that when Franklin says that. And when he's holding Daniel hostage and he's like, thanks, old lady. She's like, oh, because he gets the donut glaze on it. He's like, oh, raspberry. She's like, put some club soda on it. And he's like, thanks. He's like, but also, lady your age probably should learn how to handle a firearm better. She's like, bite me. And I was like, and they're leaving, and he's like, hold him hostage. He's like, a hostage? It's a good idea. And so they get into the van. And how one of my favorite bits is the whole sea foam color of the car, because the detective's like, the cop's like, oh, we got in a seafoam green car or van, it's going this way, and they describe it like that twice. Then later on, when they're spray painting the car, he's like, oh, seafoam green. He's like, no, it's like something else. Like, oh, I could have sworn it was seafoam green. And just like they keep going off on like the seafoam green. Don't know why. I was just like, yeah.
That's when we get that crazy cop.
Yep, he comes in, tries to stop it, and then steals the old lady's car because the robbers throw the cash register through the front door to open it, and it crashes.
But she's like all trying to talk to him, and he's like, oh, nope, just taking it. The brakes are shot.
Yeah, my brakes. I like that. They don't make cars like this anymore in America. Nope, not like this. And then later on, just like,
yeah, it just keeps going.
Yeah. It's a shame they don't make cars like this anymore. When Franklin and Daniel first get in the car, and he like turns around and goes, whoa, this thing is roomy, and it turns out like no kids in there. Like, that's such a fucking funny reveal too.
I know. I was like, oh, where did they go?
Yeah. And they were so easy to push them out on the streets. Like, you got anything besides gummy bears? And then the kid's hand goes up. Oh, yeah. But that part where he's like talking about, he's like, yeah, because like I have a temper problem because my neighbor, and then I got so mad at him, I killed him, I chopped him up, and I put him in the freezer, and a bunch of little pieces, and like everyone puts their heads like, no, I'm just kidding, man. It's like, I get nervous, I joke around like that. It's so fucking funny. Tom Arnold's just got great fucking delivery.
He does.
Oh, and then he starts freaking out because he dropped his wallet, because there was that cool part where he pulls his wallet out, And he's like, what can I get for $2? And he's like, an apple? He's like, no, these peanuts. 2 peanuts that are organic. And then, like, wallet falls to the ground, Daniel kicks it over, and then that's when the robbers come in and they have his wallet.
Oh, yeah, and that's how they find him.
But when he's driving, he's like, I can't drive, I don't have my wallet. He's like, I don't think that rule applies for criminals. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's like, they're so quick to just, like, leave the kids on the side of the fucking road.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, kids, get out. And he's like, oh, no, you have to stay, too. But the kids, they can fucking go.
Yeah.
But I'm not going anywhere without my dad. That's when the cop drives
rolling
by,
around.
and
All right,
he's
everybody get back in the car.
Yeah. His brakes tries, so he just fucking keeps driving.
Oh, yeah, he just goes flying past.
Yeah. I want to be the hostage. I want to be the hostage. I never get to be the hostage. That's because you're a girl. Hey, girls could be hostages too. This is the 21st century. Still trying to be like cool in front of her and shit. Like, that was fucking great.
I'm like, dude, I kept thinking to myself, and I probably said this out loud a few times while watching the movie when he kept doing stuff like that. I'm like, you already blew it,
dude,
by staring
looking
down her shirt and then not looking away.
You blew it, partner.
It's not
I
gonna
do
happen.
like, so when they're on the run and they go in the parking garage, Bucky's like, we're going up. He's like, wow, thanks for the tip, kid. Keep all the pointers going. He's like, teenagers. Like, we don't want to be going up. Yeah, it's so fucking good. I once glued my eyelids open so like I wouldn't have to sleep, but then I sneezed and I tear off the skin.
He didn't like he tear out his eyelashes.
Yeah, I tore out my eyelashes. Well, I stuck a bunch of fireflies up my nose and my eyeballs glued. Top that, buddy. He's like a big fucking kid. That's what I love about fucking Franklin.
All right,
You get the Ramones because they're jamming to the Ramones.
Oh yeah.
And Daniel doesn't like it, and everyone's
He calls
jamming.
them the screaming idiots. I'm not familiar with the idiots. You have to turn me out of their stuff. But this is the Ramones.
So fucking great. Oh, so this is a great tape. Is yours? Yeah, I have everything by the screaming idiot. The moms let us play whatever we want because they want the carpool to be fun. Carpool is about transportation. Transportation's not supposed to be fun.
I was like, oh man, that's sounds like a cool carpool, man. Your mom puts on the Ramones? Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh, and then the kids got to pee really bad. So they go to the hair salon. And I like that she's like, perm, cut, wax, and he goes, whiz. And how long that kid fucking pees, that whole fucking scene, he is just going. Like how Franklin's like holding Daniel's hand while he pees so he doesn't like run away, but then he switches hands. He's like, oh, switch hitter. I've always been a righty. I can't pee, I'm a little gun shy. And he's like, I think of baseball. No, that's sex. He's like, no, man, try it out.
He turns the water on and stuff too.
Yeah. Best part about baseball is the cold beers. Oh, yeah. That guy comes in, he's like, conga line. Got room for one more?
Oh, yeah.
Take a ticket. He's like, is that your friend of yours? No. Just like, I don't know why. Just like, Franklin's like dumb, fucking ignorant question. Like, oh, is that a friend of yours? He's like, no. There goes my record. Man, you weren't kidding. You just made your country proud, little man.
Oh, and then they buy the
the hair spray stuff. Yeah, the purple or whatever it is. And while they're spraying it, Daniel wants to make a call, which once again shows the character that he's calling his work instead of his wife. Because like, my friend's like, "What's your number?" He's like 911, and he goes to type it, and then Franklin hangs it up. He's like, "Nice try." And he's like, "Oh, don't tell your wife I'm here." He's like, "My wife?" "Oh yeah, you're right, my wife." And he like calls his work. He's like, "Hi, honey, are you there?" And
the guy's like, "What?"
Yeah, "You're right, sweetie. I love you too. I'll see you soon."
"What are you talking about? Just get here."
And then I love when Franklin calls his mom, and she's like, "I'm hungry. I'm gonna go out to eat." He's like, "Don't go to the Sizzler, Mom.
Yeah,
do not
don't
go to Sizzler." Because there was that whole thing where she's like legally not allowed to. She's got like a court order
because she just like probation ate all day or something. Like
it's like, but they were closed. You were there since noon, Mom. Like, don't go to Sizzler, Mom. Do not go. Do not go. Don't go to the Sizzler,
I love
Mom.
how he's yelling,
like, screaming, and everyone's over there. Do not go to the Sizzler. I will take you later. Bye, Mom. What's cool though is like, so they spray paint the van, and for the rest of the movie, like any other movie, they would have spray painted it and they would have just gotten a different car that's red. But
Yeah.
like this van, they like actually spray painted and they actually kept it looking like it's shittily spray paint. Because like in any other movie, they're like, let's spray paint the car, and then they would have just
Yeah.
gotten a red car. Like, oh, it looks perfect, but it like still looks all streaky, and like I don't know why, that little detail I love about it, because it's like, yeah, it doesn't work.
Well,
And,
it's
like,
because it's like crappy, and it kind of works a little bit.
yeah. Just like- oh, and that's when Rhea Perlman shows up because she's the
Oh
meter
yeah,
maid.
she's the meter maid.
Yeah. Trying to look for some freebies. It's like, it's a quarter, ma'am. Here's 2 nickels and a dime. Keep the change. It's, like, it's fucking like 20 cents. It's not even 25. She had her like badass little motorized
Oh yeah,
cart.
it's got like it's like super fast.
Yeah.
Is that and then?
Because
Then
that's
it's the
when
mall
she's...
scene.
No, first they do the in the truck, because like she's chasing him down and she's got like nitrous, and a really cool like detail that you don't catch up on till later was the other cop. He's like, oh, we like, he's on dispatch, like, yeah, we got somebody that's on him. It's like, all right, give me in the horn with him. It's like, oh, she doesn't want to get through because she's like a, you know, a meter maid. He's like, she's another officer. Like, she's not a meter maid, is she? He's like, yep. And he's like, and I thought it was just like, when I originally saw it, like, oh, he just doesn't like,
Yeah.
they're like inferior cops to him because they're meter
Yeah.
maids. And it turns out like they were gonna get married. I was like, wait,
And like
what?
But like it's kind of like dickish because he like left her at the altar.
Yeah, he just fucking like left, and like it was just so funny. Like that's the reaction, because like your first thought is like, oh, he just doesn't think meter
Yeah.
maids are like good cops, when it's like, oh no, he knows who it is.
I mean, yeah.
Good fucking twist and reveal of being like, oh yeah, we were getting married. But that's when there's that police checkpoint, and this is a joke that made me laugh so fucking hard.
The
And he puts
yes.
the scarf on. He's like, "That's my wife's scarf." And he's like, "What's going on, officer?" He's like, "We're on a statewide manhunt." He's like, "That's so funny, because so are we."
So are we.
Fucking lost it, dude. Like,
Oh
what they look like? Honey, stop. He's such a gossip.
yeah. It was fucking awesome.
And it wasn't over the top. It was just like this small,
Like
little scene. Like, it was just so well done. Like, I
it
don't
was
know.
well done, and it didn't have like a weird like. I know, like back in like the '90s, like there was you know, people would make fun of like, you know, gay stuff, but this didn't feel like poking
yeah.
fun at an entire community. It just felt like a playful like.
Oh, we got to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Because he didn't do it like all. He didn't over the top do it like, I'm just like, you know, the
Yeah,
gayest there is.
mm.
It's just like a like. I
all
got
he
an
did was
idea.
wear a scarf.
I'm gonna
and,
do
like,
this.
He acted like Tom Arnold, but just with
Yeah.
a scarf and sunglasses on.
Yeah.
That's a coincidence, because so are we. He's such a gossip. Just like he says that too.
It's great. It was great.
Sometimes the criminals can be under your nose. It's like, sorry, you'd have a smudge here. Nope, it's here. And he's got like the paint all over
Yeah,
his
just
hands.
the
Like,
paint all over
yeah.
his face.
you got it. Because, you know, I would want someone to say it to me too if I had it on my face. Okay, have a good day. I have a note in here, and it was part of the... So the mom's passed out because she's down in NyQuil like
Yeah.
none other.
She's just taking swigs.
And she's watching that soap opera, and it's like, how could you go to bed, be in bed with my mother? What kind of father are you? And I was like,
Yeah.
that's fucking good. I like that.
What was funny about that is like I'm sitting there and I heard it and I was like, wait a minute. Again, it took me a second and then it made me laugh. I was like, that was
Oh.
quick. That was good.
Yeah. And it's just like, seriously, it's just like one of those, like, this movie just has like a bunch of those like quick throwaway jokes that are just like bam, 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 bam. But they don't like try too hard or take away from the movie. They just like are peppered in there just
Well, yeah,
nicely.
it's like the way I was looking at it, it's like a series of dad jokes,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and they're just coming at you like at a nice Pez dispenser speed, you know,
Exactly.
like it's nice.
I'll
like you
enjoy
said, they're
another.
peppered in there, but they're
I'll enjoy
nicely
another.
peppered in there.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they're goofy and they make you laugh, like,
Yeah.
because like they don't hurt anybody's feelings. They're not like over the top raunchy or anything, and they're
Yeah.
just it's a good time. Like it's just a fun time, and like everybody can enjoy it. I sound like such a dad saying that shit.
Everyone can enjoy
But,
this,
like-
having a good time.
But it's cool when you can see like a movie and it's like that.
Yeah, they're on the run again, and then they drive in the back of the truck, and it's that freezer
Oh, the
truck.
freezer truck. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, haven't you seen the A Team? And I like,
Like, oh, we're getting cold. Oh, we'll just start at the van.
he's like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Start up a van in an enclosed space. He's like, okay, guys, maybe not so good on the van, on the heater idea. But I think that's when Franklin starts talking about his son.
Oh yeah.
And like that was actually a really cool moment of just like, oh yeah, me and my wife, we got divorced, and I only get to see my son every like once in a while or something like that. And like that was really fucking cool because he's like, I bet you guys go all the time, go out to games. Like, I try to take my son to games and all that stuff. It's like, no, we don't ever do anything cool like that.
And you're like, man, even this like delinquent, like, criminal can be like a good dad. Way to
Yeah.
go, buddy.
And
You
it's
got like
with,
all these resources and shit to take your kids somewhere.
yeah. And this guy who's like a really, he's not even trying to be a criminal because I really like that line when he's like, oh, how'd I do on what? He's like, on the robbery. He's like, you did great. That's awesome because I didn't even try to. I didn't even mean to do it. But yeah, like he's a better dad than these guys. And like all these kids love Franklin more. They're like, oh, don't talk to the criminal, but he's a nice criminal. Like
Yeah.
the freezer truck goes into the mall and they back out of it. And then they do a cool chase scene around the mall, which is always a classic. I don't know why. I love mall chase scenes, except for I hate the movie Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
So that's the exception. I hate mall chase scenes are cool, except for the Blues Brothers.
Might get some flack for that one. I don't like Blues Brothers either. It's not a very good movie.
Light it up in the comments, folks. We don't like the Blues Brothers. Tell me something good about that movie in the comments.
Yeah.
I dare ya.
Make us watch it again.
The music. Oh, really?
But is it that good?
Like, or are you just remembering a different movie? You're like, oh, it's good because it's like nostalgic.
And I'm not
like,
gonna sit here and say that I've never done that before. Where I was like, oh man, I remember that being really cool. And then I go back and watch it, and I'm like, why did I think this was so good?
This was cool?
Same with video games.
Maybe it's just because like I don't know. I'm not a classic SNL guy. That era of like John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd and all them. Like I don't know.
But I didn't think I'm not gonna get into it because
Let's not get this. This is a whole ball of wax we're getting into. We're gonna lose a lot of fan base because I know a lot of our fans are big Blues Brothers fans.
Old school SNL fans.
They're blues heads. The brother heads out there.
The brotherheads.
The brother heads. The naked brother heads. They're out there.
They're out there. They're gonna get mad. They're not gonna watch any more Two Guys One Film.
Nope.
We're gonna be canceled because we don't like Blues Brothers.
Yep, exactly.
Nothing against Dan Aykroyd.
No. What is this line? I'm trying to remember where it came from. I have it written down. So they're in the mall, and they get stopped by Rhea Perlman and the other cop, and she's got that harpoon gun. Mm-hmm. Like, where'd you get that? Like, it's stuffing things. I like that. I was like, how they just have fucking harpoon guns there. And then that's when she's like, all talking about how they were gonna get married, and I like that. She's like, what would you do in a situation like that? And Franklin's like, I'd shoot him, and then she turns over, and I was like, yeah, do it. And then this is when Daniel kind of starts turning around. Because then he takes over and he drives and goes through that like giant ball pit or whatever. But then like this is also kind of a beautiful heartfelt moment because then Rhea Perlman and that guy kind of start reconnecting because she's driving with him and everything like that. And
but there's like she gets the harpoon gun in the back of the van, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, and she does that like skiing thing where she's like on her feet like skiing, and then
and I'm like, damn dude, those boots have like zero grip and that floor has been waxed to the max.
I was gonna say that's very good shoes for crews that she's got. 'Cause, I mean, she's gonna be working on the elements. Like you want some good soles.
She's gonna barely touch. She's gonna barely touch like a little bit of water and go flying.
Yep, they're on the second floor. And it's like I'm gonna go through the window, and like Dad, it's the second floor, and then just like fucking flies through the air, and this van somehow magically
doesn't destroy the alignment or anything.
Anything on
somehow it. The suspension is fine.
Okay. Well, it's a caravan. That's why, dude. It's an old minivan. Like those things were built to last.
People redo those and like turn them into four-wheeling like vehicles. I've seen them. They're actually pretty cool.
If they can survive a second story jump out of a mall through a gazebo, they can go four-wheeling.
Bro, you can take that
Guarantee
shit
it.
camping. You can go through the mud in there. You can live in
Yep.
there. It's like a tiny little
It's a
cabin
tiny
if you're
little
into that.
house. A little tank house. Tiny little
Yeah.
tank house. Another cool detail I like when they come out of the freezer, the windows have
The windows
frost on them.
on the van. I noticed
And
that too. I was like,
and
oh
they
hey.
still do while they're driving around. I was like, that's cool. They weren't just like suddenly like, okay, like I don't know why, like that cool little detail.
I liked that detail too. And I was thinking like, oh shit, they'd have to like turn on the defrost. I'm like, oh, that's a cool detail, man,
Yeah.
because they were in the freezer truck.
And it's what's funny is like you don't think things like that are going to be noticed, but they do it anyway because they're like some people are going to notice. But like it also just helps you be in it and like in a reality thing. You're like, "Oh, that's real. They
Yeah.
were really in the freezer truck cuz look at their windows." Like it's small details can help.
But then
in
you
a
can also
fucking
go back
movie.
and think maybe they didn't try and add that detail and they were literally in a freezer
In a
truck
freezer,
because they
yeah.
had to keep doing it so many times.
It was all over.
Frost
Like it
got
was,
on the window, you know.
yeah. It
But
was
we're
funny.
like, oh, that was such a cool detail.
Sick detail dudes, man. Yeah. This is Daniel starts coming around. They're cruising after that, and they're listening to Ramones, and Daniel's even like listening.
He's jamming
to it,
too.
And then they get a flat tire though,
Oh yeah.
and then it kind of just goes bad from there again. Because then he wants to like to welch on the deal, and they're like, Dad, you told us like a deal's a deal and everything like that. You know, you gotta stick through it. You made a promise, Dad.
Yep.
So he sticks around.
He does.
And Daniel and Franklin have their first fight. But then when Daniel sees that like the kids are going to stay with Franklin because he's like going to leave Franklin by the side of the road. They're like, no, we're going to stay with him. And it's like, oh, maybe I am a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Franklin more than me. I should probably look internally about this.
Yeah, everybody likes a criminal better than their own dad. Well, I mean,
Yep.
only two of those kids are his kids, but
That's
I mean,
true.
like, he's losing an entire group of kids to like someone who's supposed. I mean, he's like a criminal, but he's like not. So it's weird. It's
He did one bad act, you know.
but I mean, like, I can't sit here and be like, it's fine, I mean, of course,
Yeah.
that's the proper thing to do if you're running out of money is go and rob
Go rob a
someplace.
bank.
And it's a cool if you got a heart of gold in the end because you know.
The police will drop all charges and all,
Yeah.
criminal
Because they're like, oh,
crimes.
you were just stealing it because, oh, that's fine. Even though you held people at gunpoint, even though he didn't. But
It was a lighter.
yeah,
Which I was gonna say that happened. Like there was was there ever a time with gun lighters? Because I remember them in movies, but I never actually remember seeing one.
yeah,
Like there was always the gun lighters in movies where it was like a gun you'd put and like the flame comes out because that's what he has. Like when he pulls
Yeah.
it up to his head and it's like the flame comes out. But like being in that maybe just because I wasn't old enough to shop for lighters, but like I have never once actually seen a gun lighter, and I would
yeah. In
love to
real
own
life,
one.
like near me or ever held one. No.
Yeah. So like I bet
Does anybody have a gun lighter?
take a picture of it, post it for us because like I feel like that shit was quickly pulled after they came out. They're like, okay, these are dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, they didn't even have that orange cap on the end or
Nope.
anything.
And
How
you
you gonna
gotta
tell it's
have
not
that.
real?
Yeah. Light the cat
people
up.
because people can't just paint some orange on the end of a gun.
Oh no. Only toys can have that.
Yeah.
Light the cat up. It doesn't have an orange tap on it. So Daniel has a change of heart and he wants to finish the deal so Franklin can get his money where he needs to go.
Yeah.
And they need another place to hide, so they go to Franklin's like circus or his
Big
fair.
like warehouse of like stuff.
Yeah, like
And
the
at this
glowing eyes, like
this was the point of the movie where I thought, okay, so you own these big ass fucking machines, just sell one off and pay your people.
well, that's you can't sell them off because you got to make money with the machines,
Then why aren't you making money with the machines in the
Because
first place?
nobody wants to go. Like like it's obviously a very shitty rundown like
Yeah.
circus because I like the get on this one. It's like we'll get a lawsuit. Actually, we won that lawsuit. Actually, we tied it, but hey, that's still a win. Like,
Yeah.
so, not a very great theme park, but once again, he's got a heart of gold. You
Yeah.
know?
And he's passionate about his theme park.
And about his employees, and he's
Yeah.
willing to go over the top to make sure they get some.
He's
money.
willing to send himself to prison to
Where
make
then
sure
these
they get
people
paid.
would really have no jobs.
Yeah, and probably not going to keep the money when he gets caught. It's not like they're
Yeah.
like, well, we got our guy. Guess we'll
But
just say
you,
goodbye to that money. You guys keep
yeah,
that.
we don't know where it went, so looks like you got some money.
Yep.
Yeah, now they get to have fun at his carnival, and Daniel's coming around, and they go on the Ferris wheel, and then it starts to break, and it starts going out of control. Dad, somebody help me, save
Well,
me!
those guys come in
Oh, that's right there. That's right. Okay, so yeah,
because
because
they
they're like,
find him because of his
oh, because
wallet,
they
and he
try to
left
go to
his
his
truck.
they try to go to his house first.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
they
yeah, the
break
mom
in, and the
like
mom, yeah, she just like
she just
fucking.
whips him out of there.
That was human, right? Like, what was that thing? Like, yeah, yeah. Was that human? I think so. Yeah. So then, yeah, they show up because he's like, "Oh, next time you want to do a crime, he's like, don't drive a truck with your address on the side of it and your business."
Well, yeah, because his truck was blocked in.
Yeah,
When he was
that's why
trying
they
to
took the
leave,
van.
that's why he took
Yeah.
the van.
So, yeah, they meet him there, and he's like, "We want our money." So, but then the kids, yeah, he's still up there for some reason.
Because the ride started freaking out,
Yeah.
and then those guys they come in, and they get they get their guns and shit away from them somehow.
Oh, and then they bump into it.
Because one guy's knocked out,
Yeah.
and then they take because there's nothing else that could possibly go through those gears. They go and grab the
But see, this is Daniel's moment of growth. So the
yeah.
machine's spinning. They can't get it to stop, and he's putting things in there it won't get. And he's like, "Oh, this will clog up the gears," and it's part of his portfolio for his presentation. He no longer cares about that. He cares about the safety of his son. You know?
Which is,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
That's a good growth moment right there.
Yeah. Which is
And
cool.
it's like chewing it up.
'Cause, like, you're right. The growth moment is really cool there because he's not like it doesn't, and it's another one of those like I don't feel forced kind of thing. Like I've totally
Yeah.
come around, and
Yeah.
like he just has this, for lack of better words, fuck it attitude. Like fuck
Yeah.
it. Like I got to save my kid. I don't care about this shit. I've been doing this all day. It turns out that like this human interaction and this deal that I've made is like way better. And he's become like way closer with his kids at this
Yeah,
point.
and like it was because there was that little moment before where like they were driving and like in the chase, and it's like, is everything okay? And he looks back and he's like, "Yeah, Dad, your presentations are fine," because that's like the thing he thought of first, But now it's like thing he thinks of first is his son, and it's a fucking cool, beautiful moment, Like, yeah, saves his son, climbs up there, doesn't give a fudge about his thing anymore, but then they're like, well, we could still make it.
Yeah.
Especially with me driving, we could still make it. So,
So let's go.
So they drive there, family and all, and Franklin.
And then they get in there, and the guy's like, "No, you're fired. You're fucking
Yeah.
fired, Bob." But
And
the other guy's
yeah.
like, "Oh, well, please, like, let us." Like, thankfully, he's got Franklin there because he is
Yeah.
like a master of like getting people to do stuff.
Yeah, he's a very good, like, see, that's
He's a
why
good
they're a good
salesman.
combo. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
a good combo of admin because, like, you get Franklin to keep him hooked and focused, and then you get Daniel to give all the facts, and they're like, oh, cool. And then you get him back in with this. So, like,
Yeah.
this is what makes a good duo is you got these two guys. So, like, yeah, luckily he had Franklin there to be like, give us
He's like,
time.
"I'll
He's
give
like,
you
oh.
as much time as it takes for the cops to get here."
And I like that Franklin's like, this is a pretty good neighborhood. I'd say we have like 3-minute stops. Like, it's so fucking good. It's so fucking great. But then, yeah, like he starts with his original pitch, but then when he looks at his kids, he's like, honestly, he's like, your pitch is stupid. You guys are dumb.
Yeah.
It's an
Like no one wants
old-timey
to go
thing.
here because it's old timey and there's nothing here for anybody, and kids don't like it, and basically you're pitching for the wrong demographic. And he's like, "All right."
Yeah, you're right. And he's like, and get some donuts. He's like, donuts with the Bavarian cream fills. Like, you know what a donut is? Like, it's this big. It's chocolate. with chocolate syrup or like frosting all over the top. Now that's a donut.
I'm like, man, when he described that, it sounded so awful. I was just like, that doesn't sound good at all. And why would a
That's too
donut
much
need to be
donut.
that big?
That's too
No.
much donut, sir.
But it
But
turns
yeah,
out it's like a carnival-sized donut, and I get it
yeah,
because he's got a sweet donut shop thing.
yeah. But yeah, like that was,
But I
and
like
that
that
was really
also when
cool.
those guys were like, oh, cool, we'll totally work together. And he's like, I won't work with you. I won't work with these guys.
Because he was
These
like,
two guys.
Daniel, you're going to be our point man on this. I want you here all week. And he's like, but I got a game with my kids. It's like, this is the biggest account ever.
And
You
he's like,
gotta
"Oh,
stay and do
no."
this. It's like, you know what? I quit.
Yeah, I'm gonna
'Cause
go
I'm gonna
and
go
see my
spend time
kid.
with my
I'm
kids.
taking my kids to a game.
And then we're gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna be on vacation. And it's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that was cool. Like, way to be a dad. That was awesome.
And then then the business guy for Hammerman's was like, no, I want to work with these two guys. Which I was like, oh, they're gonna be advertising guys.
I'm like, see, there you go, dude. You're like assertive in front of this guy, and you're like, I ain't taking any shit, but I've also got some really cool ideas, and I need to be a dad.
Like it's crazy that like Franklin, made him a better man. And maybe vice versa. Like, Franklin probably learned some shit from Daniel too.
Well, because they were like bouncing off each other the whole movie, but like in a good way.
Yeah. Like
They had
I
a
don't know.
like again. They had Tom Arnold and David Paymer have a very. They have a cool dynamic. Like it worked.
Very good chemistry with
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it worked really well. Like definitely like the fed up, business guy, dad, tired guy, and then like
Yeah.
the dim-witted, goofy guy, that's like
Like a
means
little bit
well.
looser. One's a little bit more like straight laced, if you will. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it
good-
works.
Yeah, it's a great fucking dynamic. There's a reason this classic formula's worked for so long. But
What bums me out is when I see movies like this with a good duo, and then they're not in another like movie together.
yeah, like
So
man,
I'm like,
they
God,
could've
they're
done
cool
this
together.
again.
Like this is
Yeah.
cool. Like not maybe another Carpool, but maybe a completely different movie where they just act together. you
Yeah.
know?
I think that's what we need to do. We need to make another comedy. We're going to put these two gentlemen in it, and it's going to be fucking great.
Well, that sounds good to me.
I hope. I hope it is. We'll find out.
Yeah. What are you doing, Tom Arnold?
Then you have a really good, happy ending flash forward where, like,
The carnival's
The-
up and running again.
yeah, and it's got two more heads on it. They put, Daniel and Franklin's heads on it. Franklin and Daniel are working together. He's like doing the advertising for him. They're running it, and then you have the Hammerman's guy got the gourmet donut stand.
He's
and
wearing
it's
his
like,
clown nose.
yeah, asparagus donuts and all these other fucking gross sounding donuts.
But they're massive too.
Big old donuts. And they
Whatever
had
works.
the
Now, I mean, okay, carnival food. You get a big ass giant donut.
oh hell
I
yeah.
get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Because you're
Gonna
gonna
have
eat
fun
it
with
once. You ain't gonna go there again and get one every day.
no, it's a one and done thing.
Yeah. Every
And
year
they
I
have-
grab a giant donut.
Yeah, a giant
And I
gourmet
never finish.
donut. Yeah, and then I get on the carpool ride and I
Yeah.
throw up. Yeah, that was cool. How they made like a carpool ride, it was like a roller
Yeah.
coaster. And the mom meets Franklin. He's like, I don't know what you did to my husband, but thank God.
So do you think that he like told his wife about that? Or do you think he just made up a story like, oh yeah, I took the kids to school and I met this
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
and we became business partners?
Like I don't
how do
know
you
because
explain that?
they were all over the news.
Yeah, but she
you
was like
know.
sleeping through the entire thing.
Oh, that's true. But did she like see it the next day? Because like
But who knows if they
everyone,
saw it the next
everyone just keeps the mom in the dark. They're like, we will never tell our mom about
Yeah.
this ever. And they're like,
day.
"Okay,
Maybe once you kids are grown and moved out,
we will tell her because
she
they'll
won't be
probably
able to worry about you anymore.
do another
yeah.
thing on the news about it and want to catch up with us. And they're like, why do they want to talk to us? Because we were kidnapped victims. Wait, what? Since when?
Well, since this guy kidnapped us, but then we all became friends in the end.
Wait, that's how you met
Yeah,
Franklin?
and then how
Like,
are they gonna explain the van being like shittily painted purple and like
oh, a bunch of
destroyed?
kids with graffiti. Like, I feel like she has to know, right? But she was like okay with it because I mean, the cops are okay with it. The guy dropped the charges.
But would
Her
the cops
husband
be
became...
okay with it? They destroyed a fucking mall.
Dude, seriously, there was a lot of damage.
There's
And
a
plus, like,
decent amount of collateral damage in this movie, and like
I think does he paying it off though? Like, doesn't he make a line about that where he's gonna be paying? Oh, he's doing
he's doing community service.
community
or something.
service. So yeah, I feel like he's paying it off because it's like, did you guys destroy a mall? a gazebo. They had to
But
commandeer
like
an old lady's
he's
car.
the only one that like gets in trouble and has to do community service. I feel like they both should have.
Yeah, because he's an accessory to the crime because Daniel
Yeah, because he
was
didn't press
driving.
charges or anything, and they were working together by the end.
Yeah, and Daniel's the one that drove the van through the mall. So
And if
he
you
is,
want to be, like
I guess,
fair, and you want them to be
business
your
partners.
business partners, then you should take
50-50.
half of that.
We're we're splitting these costs down the middle, Franklin.
Well, seriously, why should one of them have to do
Yeah.
time? Franklin is just that nice of a guy. He's like, screw it,
I'll do
take
it all.
the
Don't worry
heat,
about it.
whatever.
Yeah. And that's why Franklin's the best, you know. But I
But
feel
and
like
also that other guy is like super rich, so he probably got him out of it.
yeah, probably. It's like I'll break it off. Whatever. Gourmet donuts will pay it off.
Yeah. And that
And-
lasted till the year 2000.
2000.
And everyone was
The,
like, no, we don't want that anymore.
This movie also has one of my favorite endings too. Is because they're like, oh, we should have some dinner sometimes. Like, yeah, I'll bring my mom. He's like, my mom, and then it
Oh, yeah.
shows
it's
the
just,
sizzler, and the end credits of this movie is just this woman throwing shit and people out of windows of the sizzler, and it was like just more cops start showing up in like a tank and like
yeah, like it gets crazy.
it's
Like,
so fucking great because like any window someone's going through it, like
Yeah.
every window you're like,
because
oh,
this
someone's going
woman
through
is
that.
apparently like just so beastly strong that like
Just throw a man or a table.
an entire police force can't take her down.
It's crazy too. Like the table she's throwing, I'm like, those look fucking heavy, man. She's
It's
like
like which
tossing
pro
that.
wrestler did they hire?
Exactly. That's what I'm wondering. I don't want to look, but I'm kind of curious. Like, which one is it? Look it
I
up.
know.
Who
I'm looking
played
it up.
the mom? They don't have it. They have the people who did her voice, but they don't have who did like the body work for the mom. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Kathleen Freeman is the voice.
Like that's kind of cool. Where it's like it's not about who played her, like the body version.
I'm curious
we-
though, because it was
we, like,
like
hit her
such a big
face.
person.
Was it Captain Lou Albano or whatever his name is?
But it also could have just been like a bodysuit too, like big
Yeah.
shoulders.
I
Does
don't know, but
anybody
it was
know
cool.
this mystery? Has anybody
Who
seen
played
Carpool?
Franklin's mom in Carpool? Who was the body person?
Yeah. Or
We'll
just,
wait.
we'll just wait here. And
Yeah. I know we have such active audience members when it comes to comments, so
Yeah.
don't worry. We'll just sit here and wait.
Yeah. They should be popping up any second now. Any second.
And he's just. I mean, don't be afraid. You could just you can type it in.
Yeah. We're not mean.
No, sometimes, but not intentionally.
Mm-mm. We'll do it behind closed doors where you can't
Yeah.
see us or hear us being mean.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we'll just find out later since nobody's chiming in on this one.
Should we plug?
You know what? Maybe they'll change their mind by the time we do a plug. All right, everybody, listen up. Get your ass in this van because we're about to go to some place that's really fucking cool and that's got a lot of cool nerdy shit on it. Dane, where the hell are we going?
That's right. Buckle up, because we're going to Project Nerd. Going straight to Project Nerd Town. That's project-nerd.com. Town isn't in the title. It's just projectnerd.com. Project-nerd. That's where you're going. That's where we're going. You're going to
have
meet
no
us
choice.
there. You have no choice because you're in the van with us, and we're taking you.
We've established this in the story that you're now in the van with us because we have kidnapped you because it is the plot of the movie Carpool.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. We're tying it into the plot of the movie Carpool. Because
Yeah.
with the Carpool movie, he kidnaps the people. So get your ass to Project Nerd.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should curse during promos, but hey, I'm just getting so upset. I like this movie a lot. It's a gem. They don't make movies like this anymore because it's not the 90s. But it's a fucking fun ride in this van. Funny as shit. I want to see more Tom Arnold. He's fucking funny. This movie made me laugh quite a lot. I'm gonna give it 9 gourmet donuts out of 10.
Nice. And let's see. Well, all the reasons you said. So anyway, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun movie to watch. It's goofy. It's like I said, it's filled with like what I would call dad jokes, because they just kind of come out and it's just goofy. And you can't sit here and be like, well, that's not smart enough humor for me, because it's not about being smart. It's about just being goofy and having fun. And like Dylan said, there's not a whole lot of movies like this anymore that are, I guess, straight to the point. Like, it's a comedy, and it's straight to the point, and you know what you're getting out of it, and you don't have to expect more, and it's not throwing some lame twist at you. It's just there, it's cohesive, and you make it like there's a beginning, there's a middle, and an end, and it all fits nicely together, and it's wrapped up nicely at the end.
A little bow on it.
So this gets a 9.5 Franklin's. For me, it's an awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Check out Carpool.
It's free
It's a great
on YouTube.
movie. It's fun, and I can't stress enough that it's a fun movie.
Do you not
just
like
fun.
fun?
What is wrong with you?
Come on,
if you don't
everybody.
like fun, come on, hop
Then
aboard, watch
then
Carpool.
you go watch Citizen Kane if you don't like fun. Just suck the fun right out of your day.
Yep, Citizen Kane, that'll do it for you.
You really wanna pound that in by watching it twice.
Yep, trust me, you're gonna wanna.
No fun to be had there. But if you're into fun, then Carpool's where you need to be.
Carpool's the movie for you.
You're gonna look for Carpool.
So thank you, Christine, for this entry for Carpool. Yeah, and for Two Guys, One Film, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane.
And we'll see you next week.
Ho!